everyone. I'm Dr. Fadi from the Australian Veterinary Hospital, and I would like to talk today about one of these mostly common asked questions that I get a lot in my consult room. Basically, everybody's asking me, is my cat too thin? Is my cat too fat? Or is my dog thin? Or is my dog fat? So today I just wanted, because everybody, they're telling me like, it's my cat weighs like so and so, my dog weighs so and so. It's not about actually the the weight of the animal. It's generally we look at the proportion, because like different animals have different sizes, like heights, etc., different breed. So if we're talking about the Maine Coon, that would generally weigh something around, probably something in the range of 7 to maybe sometimes can be like 12, 13 kilos, but that's a healthy like weight, and healthy like size for such a cat, compared for something like a Persian, which is probably should be about 3.5 kilos. Now, this big range, we have to have some type of a standard where we can compare our animals to, where we know what we are looking for, so that we can have an idea, is this my animal? And I can do those basics at home, so we don't actually have to panic too much, because I get that a lot. It's like, am I underfeeding my dog, or I am overfeeding my dog? So I will just give you like a few hints. Generally, like what we look at is just like the body structure and proportion of the body structure to the muscle and fat that's like deposited in different parts of the body. Now we're having a look at this little guy. This guy, although he's little, but unfortunately when I although he's full of fluff and whatever it is, but he's hiding quite an interesting things underneath his coat. So generally, if I want to know if this dog is actually like overweight or not, basically the first thing I put actually with my hand like this, and the other thing is on top. In here, I can see his back is flat. Ideally, I should have, there's this type of like an arch, like a nice curve, but it is for me, he's flat. And when I try to reach to his ribs, it's impossible for me to reach to the ribs. So that tells me that this dog needs some serious weight management. And this is gonna be like, mainly, unfortunately, everybody says like, oh, we need to exercise more. Unfortunately, it's not only about exercising, it is as well about controlling the weight through the calories. The number or the amount of calorie intake dictates if your dog is gonna be overweight or in a very good shape. So this poor little guy, he's unfortunately like overweight, and we need to work on that, because we don't want him to be falling sick with things like pancreatitis, things like diabetes and arthritis issues, because those guys, if you look at their legs, they have really like thin, tiny little legs, and then to have such a big weight on those legs is a big issue for us. Now, if the bones of the chest or the ribs that are very visible to us even without touching, it means we are very thin. So I will give you an example. I have this chart behind me that will actually give us some idea to explain how we're gonna actually like judge that in a different way. If we have a look here, if we look from the top here, we can see that the cat in here, you can see the ribs that are very visible, and the waist is actually very narrow. As you can see in here, it's obviously narrow in here, and that actually tells me that there is not enough muscle even coverage in these areas. And you can see as well, the tummy here is very tucked, very lifted up, and at the same time you can see the ribs, they are very visible from this corner. So that tells me that this cat is very malnourished. So there's something is not right, and we need to discover what's causing this like malnourishment. Is the food is not sufficient, or is there another underlying reason, like a certain sickness or something preventing the cat from eating or causing this cachexia or this type of disease? Now, the proper weight that we should be looking at is a cat like this. Basically, when we look from the top, you can see a very nice waist, and at the same time a very nice obvious chest. And when I run my fingers on the ribs, I can see that it is very easy to palpate, but it's not difficult that I have to palpate. I have to push hard to reach to that, so we don't want that. And at the same time, there is a nice tuck, there is a little bit of fat on the tummy, that's all what we want. And when I put my hand on the back, I can feel an absolutely nice covered body. Now, the obese animals, that's when we look from the top, they have this round belly, and there is no definition for the waist, as you can see here, and they look almost like the shape of a pear, you know, which is like, you know, pear-shaped in a way. So this is what we call an obese or overweight animal, you know, which they range actually from basically the overweight to the obese is like subjective, but the aim is not to actually reach to this stage where the animal is going through this, because they've done actually like some studies, and they found when they took two groups of animals, like 10 cats, like they are actually very healthy weight, and 10 cats of like overweight. Those two groups, they found when they died of natural reasons, the average lifespan for the healthy cat was significantly a lot longer from those cats that they were overweight. So that tells you, forget about all the other illnesses that they could have, like diabetes, blood pressure, dental issues, arthritis, you name it, and the list goes on and on and on and on. So that's why, to me, it's very important that we keep our pets in a very healthy shape, and we will talk about how to reach to that probably in another video. All right, thank you very much for listening. I'm Dr. Fadi from the Australian Vet.